welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a video on products that I would recommend for those of you who have combination to oily skin, because since I have oily skin, it can be an absolute pain to find products that work for myself. And you know, like foundation, I always have problems with my foundation lasting and all that, the regular stuff of having, you know, oily skin. But I'm going to recommend to you guys a few products which I think would you know, help. I don't own that many products, so there's only so much that I can show you, but there's also quite a few that I've heard that is great, but obviously I can't give you my opinion on it my opinion on it if I haven't used it. But I will still kind of leave it in the description box or like somewhere in this video if I do mention it. So I'm going to start off with primers and then, you know, work my way through. Okay, so the primers that I have are not drugstore, and that's because I do own drugstore primers, but I personally wouldn't recommend them for oily skin because I feel like they don't make a difference, or they just make me more oilier, so I'm not going to bother showing you guys that. But the first one that I wanted to show you is the Smashbox Photo Finish Oil Free Primer. So this is I guess a silicone based primer, so if you don't like silicones you might not like this, but I really like the texture of it on my skin. I usually put it kind of all over my face because it's not exactly a pore kind of filling primer, but I do find that my foundation does last. I wouldn't say that it lasts all day. No, actually, wait, no, I think it lasts a decent amount of time, but yeah, I would definitely recommend this. This is the kind of, is it deluxe? No, the travel size, sorry. The travel size version, so it's really kind of small and compact. The other primer is again from Smashbox, and this is the Photo Finish Pore Minimizing Primer. So I find that I don't have, you know, quite large pores, but I prefer kind of pore minimizing primers. I don't know why, I just think they're really great for kind of oily skin. So this one, again, it has like a really kind of smooth texture, and I just kind of focus it on my T-zone. I don't bother putting it around my face because it's obviously for your pores. And how I like to apply it is that before, actually, I just used to like rub it into my skin, but I was watching, or was I reading? I found out somewhere that the best way to apply pore kind of minimizing primers is to actually pat it into your skin. So that is what I prefer to do, and I honestly really love this. I think this retails for like £28, so it is kind of expensive, but it's definitely worth it. And even though, like, when I first got it, I was like, this is quite a small tube, but it's actually has quite a lot of products in it, and I think it will last me a reasonable amount of time because you only need the tiniest amount. You don't need a lot, and a little definitely goes a long way. So I'll definitely recommend this to you guys. The primer that I wanted to show you guys again is a kind of pore minimizing primer, and this is the Benefit Porefessional. A lot of people rave about this. I do really love it. It's very similar to the Smashbox pore minimizing primer. Yeah, so they're very similar. I think this one is around £24.50, so it's slightly cheaper. So they have the same amount of product in it. Oh, but this one has more product in it. This is 1 fluid ounce, 30ml, and this is 0.75 fluid ounce, and it's 22ml. So I guess it makes sense that this one is a bit more expensive because it has more product in it. But again, amazing. Put it like in my pore kind of areas, if that makes sense. I can never articulate what I actually mean. I always get my words kind of muddled up, so please excuse that. But yeah, I think it's definitely worth the hype. A lot of people either really love it or they don't, but I personally really like it. And if you have oily skin, definitely try these out. So those are only foundations. I honestly don't know any drugstore, but if you do know any drugstore primers that are great for oily skin, please comment that down below, because I really personally want to try drugstore primers instead of having to spend all this money on, you know, more expensive ones. So for foundations, I'm going to start off with drugstore. So the first one that I'd recommend to you guys is the L'Oreal True Match, and this is actually the US bottle. I think the ones that are sold in Europe, I think you can, obviously don't quote me on this, but the ones in Europe have a pump, and the colour selection is not as I guess the shade selection is not as wide as the one in the US. I got this from Fragrance Direct, which is why I have the bottle, and I know a few people have been asking me where did I get this bottle from. I got it from Fragrance Direct. So I have this in the shade W10. It is very dark for me, so I always have to mix it because it's way too dark. But this is kind of the only shade that they had, the warm tone that they had. But this is honestly amazing for oily skin. Even though I do mix it, I'm going to show you what I mix it with because I equally think that's great for oily skin. But it's honestly so good. I absolutely love it. It's really liquidy. I love liquid foundations. And they have a really great, you know, colour selection. I think in the UK they have like, honestly I don't even know, not even try. But I know that the colour selection is not as great as like the ones in the US. So I guess you can see if they still have it on Fragrance Direct, or you can check, you know, eBay or somewhere like that. But honestly, it's amazing. The one which I was kind of hesitant to show you guys, but I don't know, like I think it's good, but I wouldn't say it's amazing for oily skin. I would say if you have super oily skin, I wouldn't recommend this. But if you have kind of combination and a bit of dry patches occasionally, this is the Rimmel, oh my god, what is this called? Oh, Nearly Naked. I almost forgot what it was called, but the name had rubbed off. Yes, this is the Revlon Nearly Naked. This is very kind of red, so I always constantly have to mix it, but it is a decent foundation. I'm not too, how much does it retail for? I think $8.99. But yeah, this is it. I do like it, but it's definitely not my favourite. And I would prefer to wear it maybe kind of in the winter times than in the summer. But if you have combination skin and you're not too oily, you should definitely try the Revlon Nearly Naked. I think that is really great. But the one that I really want to try from Revlon, which I've heard like nothing but amazing reviews, is the Revlon Colour Stay foundation. That I've heard is amazing. I obviously haven't tried it, so I can't really say much on it, but I definitely want to pick that up. I just don't know what shade I'm in. I think I'm a shade between like caramel and cappuccino. I think caramel would be too light, but then cappuccino is too red, so I'm not sure what the situation is going to be there. But I've heard that is really great for oily skin and it lasts like all day. The kind of more expensive foundations that I wanted to show you is the Stila Stay All Day foundation and concealer. So it just has the concealer on top and then obviously the foundation. I have this in the shade Warm 13. This is amazing. I've been using this quite often actually, more than I used to, but I really love it. It is definitely amazing for oily skin, and I think it says what it does. No, it does what it says. Is that it? I'm not making no sense. I think that's it. It does what it says. It says what it does. Okay, whatever, you guys know what I mean. But as it says, it stay all day. I believe it does stay all day. It lasts pretty much all day. I absolutely love it. I may get a bit shiny, but that is very rare. I pretty much stay matte, not super matte, but obviously matte enough considering how, depending on how many hours I have it on for. This is a slightly thicker foundation. If I show you guys, I think I've got a review on this actually, but it's a slightly thicker consistency, and this kind of, I don't know what this is, but they need to get a pump. Actually, I don't think it would work with a pump because it's kind of thick, but yeah, I really like this, and they have a really great colour selection as well, which is really nice. And the other foundation, oh actually I've got two more to show you, my bad. The other foundation I wanted to show you is the Bobbi Brown Long Wear Even Finish Foundation with SPF 15. Does this have SPF in it? No. SPF 15. So this is one of my favourite foundations. It's absolutely amazing. Whenever I wear it, people always ask me like, what foundation are you wearing? It's almost like your skin. It does have a lavender scent, so if you have sensitive skin, you may not like it as much, but honestly I think it's amazing for oily skin. Once you apply your primer and then you apply the foundation, it pretty much lasts all day and your face kind of looks flawless. It's amazing. People honestly try this foundation. They have a really great color selection as well, so which is really nice. So, and it comes with a pump, which is a plus, because that Stila one is a pain to use. The other foundation, which is my opinion on this, is kind of like the Revlon Nearly Naked. It's kind of a love-hate relationship. It's the Becca Stick Foundation, and I have this in the shade Hazelnut. So this is a bit too light, as you can see, so probably that's the reason why I'm not really a fan of it, but I wanted to show it to you because I do think it is okay, or really good. Not amazing, but I think it's really good for oily skin. So and it's really like easy for like application. You just have to, you know, just draw on your face and then rub it in. But I like I said, for the Revlon Nearly Naked, if you have, I guess, combination skin but you're not like too oily, but you may get, you know, a bit of like dry patches, this is a really nice foundation for that. But if you have super oily skin, I would probably say stay away. Maybe I feel like because it's not exactly my shade, it's really difficult for me to use, because you can't really mix a stick foundation unless you have another stick foundation, but even then it's quite difficult. But I thought I'd show this to you guys because it isn't a bad foundation. I feel like if I had it in the right shade, then it would be somewhat, I guess, okay for my oily skin. Oh wow. So onto powder foundations. So the first one I wanted to show you is the Bare Minerals Ready Foundation. If you have super oily skin, a lot of people like to use powder foundations because I guess it's a powder, so it's kind of I guess setting. No, that doesn't make no sense. A lot of people like to use powder foundations when they have oily skin rather than liquid. I prefer liquid, like I said, but if you are a person that likes powder foundations and you want, you know, good coverage, the Bare Minerals foundation is very, very good. It provides a bit too much coverage actually for me. This is not a powder that you would set a liquid foundation because you will be looking cakey, but it is a really nice foundation. And I have this in the shade, I actually is it shade match? No, I colour matched, whatever the terminology is. I picked the shade myself online, which is obviously not the smart thing to do. It's best to actually go into the store and get matched, but I do things online, so I got it. I kind of guessed my shade, and it is actually quite okay. I don't use it as often because, again, I'm not really into powder foundations, but when you're in a rush, this is a really nice powder foundation, and it has SPF 20 in it as well. The other powder foundation I wanted to show you guys is from Illamasqua, and this is honestly amazing. Like, I've actually hit pan on it. I love this. It's just amazing. It just gives that kind of flawless airbrush look. You can use this alone because it does provide a decent amount of coverage. I wouldn't say it's not as full coverage as the Bare Minerals foundation, but it does provide a decent amount of coverage. But I like to use it both on its own and also to set, lightly set. So if I use too much, it will start looking cakey. But I love this. It got to the point where I stopped using it just because I hit pan and I was so scared to kind of run out. But I do have a backup actually. I'm not too sure how much this is. It is quite expensive. Is it? I don't know. But yeah, this is a really nice foundation. So going on to drugstore powders. The first one is from L'Oreal, and it kind of matches the foundation. So this is the L'Oreal True Match foundation. This is in the shade W10 again, so it is slightly too dark, but I kind of use it for when I am a bit darker, and I kind of use it around the outer edge, or is it rim, of my face, because obviously that's where I'm more darker, and as you go in I'm more lighter, so I'll use a different powder. But this has really good coverage, so you could use it alone. You could probably put concealer and then just use this if you want to go for that really natural look, or you can use it as a setting powder. But it is a really nice powder. It does keep me matte, and I really do enjoy using it. Again, this is from Fragrance Direct. In the UK, does the powders look like this? I think the packaging is the same, but the shade selection is horrendous. They're so rude. And then the other two powder foundations I want to, well, not powder foundations, but setting powders, is the Sleek Pressed Powder. It says translucent, but it does have a tint to it. I just think it provides very little coverage. So this is just how it looks. It's super light, so I actually got it online, but it's in the shade medium, so I would probably go one shade darker, but I was too scared that the dark shade would be too dark for me. But this is really great for kind of like the inner portion of my face where I'm a bit lighter. But again, this is really great as a setting powder. They do have one that's slightly more coverage, and I think that's just called the pressed powder. It's exactly the same packaging, but this one just says the translucent, but it isn't translucent, which is kind of weird. And the last powder foundation, well, it's not powder foundation, I keep saying powder foundation, setting powder, is from Maybelline. And now, I used to hate this powder. I did not like it. I used to detest it so much, but it's kind of grown on me a bit. So this is the Maybelline Fit Me powder. Again, this is very light. This is in 355 coconut, but I kind of use it again for like the inner portion of my face where it is a bit lighter. What I like about this is that they have a really nice colour selection, and it does keep me relatively matte. I wouldn't say all day. I'll probably have to blot with this, but I wouldn't probably use this alone because it doesn't really provide that much coverage. But as a setting powder, it's really, really nice, and it is super inexpensive. So that is the end of this video. It kind of went smoother than I thought. I didn't get tongue-tied as I usually do, because I have it all in my head, but then to actually say it out, it's just a hot mess. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. All the products will be listed in the description box down below. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.